I'm gonna share some secrets on how to control the round rescue. This helped me to avoid landing into power lines or on a rough surface like a road. Instead, I've targeted my glide and I landed in bushes, which was a lot better, safer option to land than it would be that power lines, for example. So make sure you stay till the end of the video. Okay, let's get into it. Early correction. I'm not gonna go too much in details on this one as it is very specific for the infinite tumble and its acrobatics. But basically what I did, I corrected the wing too early, a mistake that I've done before, and I had multiple warnings to not to do it, and here's the videos of that. This one is even worse because I got all twisted up. Took me a while to get out of it. I was considering a rescue there, but I had just enough altitude to get out. I made mistakes before, I didn't improve, and now I paid the price and I had to throw the rescues. Luckily, I walked away from it. What is early correction? You're supposed to correct your wing as it starts climbing up. What I did is that as the wing was approaching the bottom part of it, I started correcting really high, and as I was going closer and closer and closer, I had already full brake on when the wing was under. That makes the wing collapse, and it still has momentum, it still goes up as you're up high and you're gonna have to fall down. In this case, it actually had enough energy just to collapse just in front of me. There are a lot of cases where people don't get as lucky as I did and they kinda go all the way into the wing, which is called the gift trap, and it's really hard to get out of that. This is the reason why I got that big smile on my face right after that, because I was like, whew, I missed the big one. This is the easy part. And this is also why my first rescue throw was so weak, which lots of you mentioned, and good on you guys for actually noticing, and that was the most common thing that people said, that I made a mistake, and yes, that's true. I didn't even really throw it, I just kind of dropped it, and that is no way to throw a rescue. The reason why I just kind of dropped it, I think it's a combination of things. First, I was a bit too relaxed, then I noticed that, oh, I'm going maybe in auto rotation, let's throw it out. Also, I threw this rescue before and it always opens super nice, super quick. I had a big trust in this Regalo Reserve, and I think that partially made me just kind of drop it instead of throwing it out. I knew that I have altitude as I started the maneuver at 1,000 meters above the ground. That rhythmic sat and a few turns on infinity maybe burned 200 meters or so. Still 700-800 meters altitude with some safety margin to figure this out. This is also the reason why I checked my wing first. I didn't throw the rescue straight away, and only after I looked for altitude to decide what to do next. Knowing that I'm this high, I decided not to throw straight away. I was considering my drift, so if I throw higher, I will drift more, and I didn't have too much space to drift. I would end up on a mountain or worse on the power lines. Then as the wing started oscillating, I was worried for auto rotation. Now that I look back and I have seen this video over and over and over again, I can say that the wing probably would not go into auto rotation as my both brakes were locked with about 8 or more twists. So there's almost no way for the brakes to come loose. The glider was quite stable in parachutal stall and no real way to get out of it. Now, another thing people mentioned was that, oh, the rescue was twisted, so I probably packed it wrong. I actually doubt that. What I did do wrong for packing was that I left too much slack. What I mean by that, it's that line that is outside of your rescue bag and connected to your bridles, and kind of slack that is left into the rescue pocket. The rescue was floating in the air for a long time before it caught air, or even before it came out of its container. So that means the combination of my poorly thrown rescue plus poorly packed made it float around and twist around itself, and by the time it opened it had about 4, 5, 6 twists on it. So that would be another problem to deal with if the rescue would have not tangled and would have been open. One more thing I noticed as I watched this video is that the rescue tip that was tangled with the wing was actually coming out, and if I would have waited maybe 5 to 10 seconds more, it might have opened up. That is easy to say now because I've been watching this video a lot, but in the moment I had no idea. I didn't see it coming out. I decided that it's gonna be stuck there. I had another rescue. I went for it. Second rescue. I was committed. There was no way I'm gonna let this one tangle up and be in complete mess, risk having an injury. So I committed myself to the throw, threw it real hard, and I peeled my eyes to it and followed it around as it was going, making its way up to the glider and opening up before that. This rescue opened really nicely, like in the air you could see that it opened up straight, and as it was straight I pulled on the line to open the rescue intake, air intake, so it inflates quicker, and it was instant, just poof and open. There's not much to say about this one. It did exactly what it's supposed to do. Round rescue, they are quite reliable. Now I have a working rescue. Let's get ready for the emergency landing. So the first thing I did is collect the main wing and the Regala rescue, just in case if they try to mess with my orange rescue or they try to go downplane or any of those not so good things. So I pulled it in. And here's a tip. If you ever get in this situation, in my case, the tangled up rescue actually helped to pull it in. It made it less pressurized. But if you ever end up in a situation where your glider is out in front and pulling one-way rescues there and you getting the downplane, there is a way to pull in. Lots of people say that, oh, it's too hard, it's hard to pull it in. In my experience, the system is pulsating. So what I mean by that is that the rescue is pulling one way and there's tension in the rescue, and the wing is pulling the other way. And it never happens all the time that both of them are equally pressurized. One or the other will have more power as it progresses, and it's kind of pulsate. What you want to look for is when the wing gets weaker pressure cycle and you pull it in. As it gets strong again, you just hold it. So you repeat this process till you get the wing in your lap and you're good. This brings me to the tip that I promised in the previous week's video. Here it comes. Now my situation is under control. I have working rescue, I have everything collected, and now I check for drift. I'm looking where I'm gonna land and how should I prepare for it. And to my disbelief, I look down and I see there's power lines right in my glide. And there's also a road that kind of serpentines up the mountain, which is concrete, which is also not good. Or I'm making the power lines, or I'm crashing on the road. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it that after all of this that I manage everything and now I have this next obstacle in front of me. I kind of reached up to the bridles that are connected to my shoulders for the rescue, and as if I was talking with the rescue, and like I just shook it hard in my anger and disbelief, saying like, no way you're bringing me to the power lines, no way I'm landing there, no, that's not gonna happen. As I was shaking the bridles, I noticed that, oh, I'm sinking faster than I was a second before. And I looked down, I looked at the glide, it's like, oh, I'm losing glide as well. Instantly I realized, oh, so if I shake the bridles, that creates vibration. That vibration disconnects airflow around the rescue, and that makes the rescue to fall down to the earth quicker. And that reduces your glide, and that means that I can somewhat target where I'm gonna land, which means I can shorten my glide when I want to, and stop shaking when I need to start gliding. So I went on that full power. I still had enough time, and I lost just enough glide to land about 5 meters ahead of that concrete road and about 30 to 40 meters ahead of the power lines. Now, of course, I had altitude, so I could do it. I wouldn't suggest to do it if you don't have altitude. Now, I want to point out that this was my experience. I haven't done any extra testing after this, and I haven't done any research or everything. This is my thought process. This is what happened.